What if I told you that worry is an illusion, a lie your mind tells you on repeat? The mind is everything. What you think, you become, said the Buddha. But what if what you're thinking is silently destroying your peace, stealing your sleep, and hijacking your joy? If you've ever found yourself lying awake, replaying conversations, or fearing things that haven't even happened, you are not alone. Here's the truth. Most of us live in fear of a future that doesn't exist. So let me ask you, what if you could break free from that cycle right now? In this video, we'll unpack a life-altering Buddhist truth that's been hidden in plain sight. And it's not just philosophy, it's a practice you can try today. The kind that can shift everything. You're about to discover the real root of worry, and more importantly, how to end it. If you're going to get anything out of this video, just get this. That's all you need to know in life, and wait until the end. There's a powerful bonus lesson that ties it all together. Number 1. Be happy now. What Buddhism really says about worry. There is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. The words seem simple, but for most of us, they feel like a riddle, because we've been trained to chase happiness, not notice it. You were taught that happiness lives in the future, in the job promotion, the perfect relationship, the next big achievement. So you run faster, harder. You convince yourself that once everything is in order, then you'll relax, then you'll smile, then you'll finally be happy. But that day never quite arrives, does it? Imagine this. Your life is a room filled with sunlight, but the curtains are closed. Worry is the curtain. And every time you think, I'll feel better when, you're just tugging them tighter. Buddhism doesn't say, don't care. It says, be awake. Be awake to the illusion that joy is a reward waiting at the finish line. It's not. It's already here. But you must stop postponing it. Ask yourself, what are you postponing joy for? Is it the day you have more money, a cleaner house, a better title? What if this imperfect, unfinished, unpredictable moment was enough? Buddhist wisdom cuts through the fog with one clear insight. Attachment is the root of suffering. And the most overlooked attachment is to the way life should be. We suffer because we argue with what is. But what if you practiced this instead, allowing joy to coexist with imperfection? The job might still be uncertain. The relationship might not be where you want it. Your to-do list might be long. But peace doesn't arrive when the noise stops. Peace comes when you stop resisting the noise. Train your mind to see what's right, not just what's wrong. This doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means not letting them define your inner state. Breathe with me for a second. Just one breath. No fixing, no striving, just presence. Can you be present for just one breath? That breath is where happiness lives. Not in some future you haven't earned, but in the sacred ordinariness of now. A monk once said, when walking, just walk. When eating, just eat. It sounds almost childish, but that's the point. Children don't wait to be happy. They are happy because they don't divide the moment, they don't resist it, and neither should you. So ask yourself, what if nothing changes? Can I still choose joy? Can I see beauty in the cracks, peace in the mess, contentment in the now? Because the truth is, happiness is not a treasure buried in the future. It's a sun that shines when you open the curtain of the present. Let go of the belief that happiness lives somewhere else. It's not there, it's here, beneath your resistance. At the end of the day, you have two choices: wait for a perfect moment, or make this moment enough. Be happy now. That's not denial, that's wisdom. 2. What is worry according to Buddhism? It's a mental illusion. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. Worry isn't reality speaking. It's a shadow puppet dancing on the wall of your mind, its shape convincing only when light is placed behind it. You feel its presence, its urgency, its demands. But take a moment to ask, if your thoughts aren't facts, why do you treat them like rules? Every day you spin stories about tomorrow. You anticipate emails that haven't arrived, conversations that haven't happened, failures that exist only in your imagination. Buddhism teaches that worry is nothing more than mental storytelling, an attachment to an imagined future that steals the joy of now. When you chase certainty, you build walls around your peace. You act as though control is a currency you can earn, while your mind quietly prints counterfeit worries to bank on. In ancient monasteries, monks learned to watch these thoughts pass, like clouds drifting across a silent sky. At first, the urge to chase them, fix them, or resist them feels overwhelming. But notice this: a cloud doesn't ask permission to appear or demand reaction when it fades. It just moves. What if you treated worry the same way? What if, instead of obeying its orders, you simply observed its shape, noted its color, and let it float away? Modern life amplifies worry with endless notifications, comparisons scrolling on screens, and a culture that praises anxious planning. In the office, you rehearse worst-case scenarios before meetings even start. At home, you calculate every expense and outcome before lifting a finger. You believe that if you predict the storm, you can avoid getting wet. But Buddhism reminds us that attachment to prediction is attachment to suffering. When you drop the need to control every moment, you discover clarity in uncertainty. Here's how to begin. Pause 3 times today, before a meeting, before replying to a text, before making dinner. Take 1 full breath. Notice the worry rising. Name it. There's the budget worry. There's the relationship worry. Then say silently, "This is just a thought," and let it drift. No pushing, no chasing, no judgment. Each time you practice, you weaken the puppet's strings. Consider a real-life moment, a student trembling before an exam, convinced failure is inevitable. Instead of battling panic, she watched it as a fleeting visitor, not a permanent resident, and discovered that the questions on the paper were less daunting than the questions in her mind. When she released the grip of imagined failure, her mind cleared. She answered more confidently and finished early. Buddhist wisdom doesn't promise a worry-free life. It offers something far more powerful: the freedom to choose your response. You're not at the mercy of every thought that crosses your mind. You can stand apart, a calm witness to the drama, and decide whether to play the part or watch the scene unfold. So ask yourself, what if worry is not a compass, but an echo of fear? What if, by refusing to follow its shadowed outline, you step into the light of your own awareness? The real mastery lies in this simple shift, dropping the illusion of control so that you can embrace the unpredictability of life with a steady heart. Let worry be a cloud, not a command. Let it pass. And in the quiet space it leaves behind, discover that peace was waiting all along. 3. The mind's trap: how we create suffering with thoughts. The root of suffering is attachment. These words aren't just spiritual poetry. They are a mirror, a direct reflection of how we trap ourselves over and over again inside our own minds. Not with chains, but with thoughts. Thoughts that say, "This shouldn't be happening. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I can't be happy until this is fixed." Your mind is a cage, but not one made of steel. It's built from invisible assumptions, stories, and labels. You experience something neutral: a delay, a breakup, a missed opportunity, and instantly your mind stamps it, bad. And from that stamp, suffering begins. Not from the event itself, but from the meaning we attach to it. You don't suffer because your plans changed. You suffer because you expected them not to. Buddhism teaches that the mind is a storyteller. It crafts entire realities out of preference and resistance. But if you look closely, you'll see something powerful. The story can only hurt you if you believe it. Suffering enters when we stop observing thoughts and start identifying with them. You begin to become the worry, the anger, the regret, as if they're who you are. But they're not. They're visitors. You're the space they pass through. Ask yourself, what are you mentally fighting right now? Maybe it's a delay in your career. Maybe it's someone not meeting your expectations. Or maybe it's just a deep, unspoken fear that you're falling behind. Now pause and look at the thought that fuels that fight. Is it true? Absolutely true? Or is it just a belief you've rehearsed so often that it feels real? A woman once told the Buddha, "My life is full of suffering." He asked her, "What are you clinging to?" She cried because she realized it wasn't the world causing her pain. It was her grip on how the world should be. Her healing didn't come from fixing the external. It came from releasing the inner resistance. Every moment you spend resisting what is, you tighten the bars of the cage. But every time you pause, breathe, and observe your thoughts without judgment, you rattle those bars loose. You remember that you are not your mind. You are the awareness behind it, and awareness is freedom. Here's the practice. The next time you feel upset, don't rush to change the situation. Instead, notice how your mind labeled it. Unfair, terrible, unacceptable. Then ask, what if I didn't believe that label? What if this moment is just a moment? Suffering ends when you stop clinging to what should be and meet life exactly as it is. You may not like it, but you can still make peace with it. And from that peace, clarity arises, strength returns, action becomes effortless, not reactive, but rooted in wisdom. So here's the truth. Your mind can be a trap or a tool, and you hold the key, not by force, not by perfection, but by letting go. Let go of the thought, let go of the story, and finally, be free. 4. Living in the present, the real antidote to anxiety. Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. This teaching is simple, yet it slices through the heart of anxiety like a blade through fog. Because here's the truth. Worry cannot survive in the now. It only exists in time, in a future that hasn't happened or a past that can't be changed. But peace? Peace lives in presence. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Imagine your mind as a still lake. The surface is calm, reflective, clear. But every thought about the past stirs the water. Every imagined scenario from the future sends ripples through it. And soon, the reflection is gone. You can't see through the chaos. You forget the calm was ever there. And yet, it never left. It was only disturbed. So the question is, can you stop stirring the water? You may feel overwhelmed by your job, your relationships, your expectations. The mind screams, what if I fail? What if I'm not enough? But the only place those fears live is in the movie your mind is projecting onto the future. Buddhism doesn't ask you to deny your fears. It asks you to wake up from them, to return to the one place they lose their power, the present. Right now, notice your breath. Not the story of your breath, the feeling of it, the rise and fall, the inhale and exhale. This is your anchor. This is the moment that frees you. When your mind drifts, because it will, come back to your senses. Feel your feet on the ground, the sound around you. the texture of your clothing. These are the tools that bring you home. You're not broken for worrying. You're just lost in a place that doesn't exist. Ask yourself, are you really here right now? Or are you living in a conversation that hasn't happened, in a failure that hasn't come? Every time you return to now, you reclaim your power. You stop reacting to a fantasy and start responding to what's real. There's a story of a Zen master who was asked, "How do you stay so calm in chaos?" He smiled and said, "When I'm eating, I eat. When I'm walking, I walk. When I'm sitting, I sit." The student replied, "But don't we all do that?" The master answered, "No. When you're eating, your mind is already at work. When you're walking, your mind is rushing home. When you're sitting, your mind is worrying about what's next." That's the difference. The present moment is not just a space between two tasks. It's the only space where life happens, where decisions are made, where peace can be found. Stop running into the future. Stop dragging the past. Just be here. This breath, this step, this pause. Because the truth is, you don't need more time. You need more presence. And presence is not something you find. It's something you practice. So the next time worry grips you, don't try to fix the future. Just ask, am I here? Or am I lost in a place that doesn't exist? Peace doesn't wait for a better moment. It begins the moment you arrive. 5. Trusting life. The art of letting go. Let go or be dragged. Those 5 words hold more power than most of us are ready to face. Because the truth is, letting go feels like death to the ego. Like surrendering means losing. But Buddhism reveals something deeper. Letting go isn't giving up. It's waking up. Waking up from the illusion that you're in control of everything, that you can predict, prevent, and perfect every outcome in your life. That kind of pressure doesn't just steal your peace, it drains your soul. Trying to control life is like clenching water. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips through your fingers. You try to control your career, plan every detail, fear every outcome, obsess over timelines. You try to control people, how they see you, how they respond to you, how long they stay. And you try to control the future, imagining 100 versions of what might go wrong. But has that ever brought you peace? Or has it only fed more fear? Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start trusting. You trust that life unfolds, not always the way you want, but often exactly the way you need. You trust that outcomes you can't change aren't punishments, but teachers. And you trust that surrender is not weakness, it's wisdom. Because when you stop forcing things, something magical happens. Your energy shifts from fear into flow. There's a story of a man hanging from a cliff, gripping a branch for dear life. Below him, jagged rocks. Above him, no help in sight. He screams into the sky, "Is anyone there? Help me." A voice calls back, "Let go." The man pauses. "What?" The voice says again, "Let go." He looks down, terrified, and stays frozen in fear. Hours later, exhausted, he slips and lands on a ledge just a few feet below. Sometimes the ground you fear doesn't exist. The only thing between you and peace is the clinging itself. Ask yourself now, what are you gripping so tightly? A plan that's not working? A person who's already left? A version of yourself you've outgrown? What if you loosened your grip just a little? What if you stopped wrestling with life and started dancing with it? Letting go begins with one breath, one moment of softening, the tension in your jaw, the worry in your chest, the urge to control the uncontrollable. You don't have to drop everything all at once. But can you release one thought, one fear, one should that's been weighing on your heart? You'll notice something strange. As soon as you stop clinging, space opens up. Space for clarity, for new possibilities, for the present moment to breathe again. And from that space, you move, not from desperation, but from alignment. Letting go is not the end of control. It's the beginning of trust. And when you trust life, you realize you were never meant to carry it all. Stop clenching, start flowing, because peace doesn't come from holding on. It comes from having the courage to let go. 6. Accept what is. Resistance is the true enemy. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. It sounds simple. But when life doesn't go your way, when plans unravel, or when someone breaks your trust, peace can feel like a distant fantasy. In those moments, the mind goes to war. It tightens, argues, rejects. It says, this shouldn't be happening. But here's the deeper truth. Resistance is the real enemy, not the moment itself. Imagine trying to row a boat upstream with a broken paddle. Every stroke takes all your effort, yet you don't move. You're exhausted, frustrated, stuck. That's what resisting reality feels like. When you fight what is, your job situation, your breakup, your uncertainty, you waste all your energy wishing the river flowed the other way. But it won't, and it never has. The river of life flows how it flows. The question is, can you let go of the fight and float with it? Acceptance doesn't mean approval. It doesn't mean you like what happened. It means you stop pretending it didn't. It means you face the truth without turning it into your enemy. Because emotional suffering isn't caused by the event. It's caused by the story we tell ourselves about it. This is unfair. This ruins everything. I can't handle this. The pain multiplies. And suddenly, you're not just feeling loss, you're also feeling resistance to that loss. That's where suffering is born. There's a story of a monk who was struck during a robbery. As he bled, someone asked, "Aren't you angry?" The monk replied, "There is pain." Why add hatred to it? That's the power of acceptance. You acknowledge the wound without feeding it more pain. You say, "This hurts, but I won't make it worse by denying that it happened." Now ask yourself, what are you wishing was different? Is it your career, your pace in life, the way someone treated you? What would change if you stopped resisting it, not surrendered to being stuck, but surrendered to what is? In that surrender, something unexpected happens. You gain clarity, and with clarity comes choice. You stop reacting, you start responding. Not from panic, but from presence. It's the fight that drains you, not the reality. When you accept, you conserve your energy. You turn inward where peace lives, not outward where control is an illusion. You don't have to like everything that happens. But you can stop pretending life should always meet your expectations. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Acceptance is the beginning of emotional freedom. It's the first time you put the paddle down and let the current guide you. Maybe it leads to healing. Maybe it leads to growth. Maybe it simply leads to peace. But it starts the moment you say, "This is what is, and I will face it fully." Stop rowing against the flow. The clarity you seek isn't in changing the moment. It's in changing how you meet it. 7. Stop fixing yourself. You're not broken. You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. But how often do you actually give that to yourself? Not the fake kind of self-love wrapped in productivity or comparison, but real compassion. The kind that doesn't say, "I'll love myself when I'm better," but "I love myself even as I grow." Buddhism teaches that the path to peace doesn't begin with fixing what's broken. It begins with realizing you were never broken to begin with. You're not a problem to solve. You're a garden to nurture. But for many of us, self-growth feels like a never-ending repair job. We treat our flaws like errors, our sadness like failure, our past like proof that we're not enough. We chase goals not for joy, but to finally feel acceptable. It's subtle, but dangerous, because self-improvement without self-acceptance isn't growth, it's rejection in disguise. Imagine standing in front of a mirror and seeing yourself as a friend, a real one. Not someone to constantly upgrade, fix, or criticize, but someone to support, understand, and forgive. What if that became your new mindset? What if inner peace wasn't at the end of 10 more habits, 5 more books, or another new version of yourself, but available now, the moment you decide to stop abandoning who you already are? There's a story of a cracked clay pot used to carry water every day. One side always leaked, and the pot felt ashamed. One day it apologized to the gardener, but the gardener smiled and said, "Haven't you noticed the flowers blooming only on your side of the path? Your so-called flaws, your cracks, may be the exact places where your wisdom, empathy, and beauty pour out." The goal was never perfection. It was awareness, presence, love. Ask yourself, are you trying to be better, or are you trying to be lovable? What if you already are? What if all your frantic fixing is just noise covering a truth that's already whole? There's nothing wrong with growth, but let it grow from a place of kindness, not fear, from acceptance, not shame. You don't plant a tree and yell at it to grow faster. You water it. You give it light. You protect it from harsh winds. And then, growth happens on its own. That's how your mind, your spirit, your life works. When you stop pressuring yourself to be enough, you discover you already are. And in that space, you'll naturally rise. Not because you're not good enough, but because you finally believe you are. Treat yourself like a friend, a companion on this path. When your inner voice becomes gentler, life begins to feel lighter. And slowly, the need to fix melts into the willingness to heal. You're not a broken machine. You're a blooming garden. And the moment you stop criticizing the soil, you'll realize it's already fertile. 8. Thoughts are not facts. Be the watcher, not the worrier. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. But most of us live like prisoners to our minds, tied to every thought, every fear, every imagined scenario, as if it were the ultimate truth. Worry becomes the voice of reason. Doubt becomes the narrator of our lives. But Buddhism offers a powerful shift. You don't have to believe everything you think. Your mind is like a radio station. It plays stories, predictions, memories. But you're not the radio. You're the one who's listening. Imagine a storm passing through the sky. Thunder crashes, rain pours, clouds swirl. And yet, above it all, the sky remains untouched. That's your awareness. The storm? Your thoughts. When we forget this, we get swept up in the drama. We become the storm, reacting, resisting, believing every mental movie that plays on repeat. But what if you could just watch? Let the thought pass, like a cloud drifting across your mental sky. There's a practice in mindfulness called noting. When a thought arises, I'm not good enough. This will never work. What if I fail? You simply note it. Ah, worry. Ah, fear. That gentle labeling creates space. It reminds you, this is a pattern, not a prophecy. You don't need to wrestle with it. You don't need to fix it. Just watch and let it pass. So many of our worries come not from life itself, but from the stories we attach to life. A delay becomes a disaster. A silence becomes rejection. A mistake becomes proof that we're unworthy. But none of this is real. It's interpretation, not fact. Your power lies not in controlling your thoughts, but in choosing your relationship with them. Let's ask something radical. Which thought are you clinging to right now? That one judgment that won't let go? That imagined future playing on a loop? What if it's just a passing cloud, harmless, fleeting, unreal? What if you could sit on the bank of your mind and watch the river of thoughts flow by, untouched? The moment you stop believing everything your mind says, you begin to taste freedom. You begin to see clearly. I am not this thought. I am the space it moves through. The stress doesn't come from the moment. It comes from the mental commentary. When you pause and observe, the mind loses its grip, and peace quietly returns. Practice being the watcher. When the mind says, "This is bad," watch it. When it whispers, "You can't handle this," smile gently and keep watching. When it screams, "Something's wrong," breathe and remember. Thoughts aren't commands. They're just noise. They only have power when you believe them. You are not your fear, not your worry, not your inner critic. You are the stillness beneath the noise, the awareness behind every thought. And that awareness, it doesn't panic, it simply watches and remains free. 9. Practice radical self-compassion. You are not unworthy because you worry. You are human. Somewhere along the path of growing up, you were taught that perfection was the price of peace, that you had to earn your worth by being calm all the time, composed all the time, productive all the time. But Buddhism reminds us, when you accept yourself, the whole world changes. Not when you fix yourself, not when you finally get your life together, but when you meet yourself with kindness, especially in the places that feel most unlovable. Imagine standing in front of a cracked mirror. The cracks don't erase the reflection. The light still shines through. That's you. Worry, fear, regret. They're not signs you're broken. They're signs you're alive. And what if the real suffering isn't the worry itself, but the way you treat yourself for having it? The harsh self-talk, the inner judge, the voice that whispers, "You should be stronger than this. You're failing at peace." Would you ever say that to someone you love? Then why say it to yourself? There's a quiet revolution in Buddhist teaching, radical self-compassion, not indulgence, not making excuses, but a fierce, gentle presence that says, "Even here, I will not abandon myself." The mind may panic, the emotions may tremble, but the heart, the compassionate heart, stays. And in that staying, something softens. The inner war begins to end. Think about it. When a child is afraid, we don't yell at them to be brave. We hold them, we speak gently, we reassure. Your worry is like that child. And you are the parent. What if, instead of judging the fear, you listened to it, sat beside it, gave it space, without trying to fix it right away? Compassion doesn't mean we stop striving. It means we stop shaming ourselves along the way. Try this. The next time you feel anxious or overwhelmed, pause. Place a hand on your chest and whisper to yourself the words you would give to your dearest friend. "It's okay. I'm here. I've got you." Simple. Software powerful. You'll be amazed at what shifts inside when you stop trying to escape your feelings and begin to embrace the one who feels them. Here's the truth. Your worth doesn't disappear when you're uncertain. Your light doesn't fade because you're struggling. A cracked mirror still reflects, and so do you. So the next time your inner critic rises, ask yourself, would I say this to someone I love? And if not, why say it to yourself? Your healing begins with gentleness. Your strength is born from self-kindness. And your peace, your real peace, starts the moment you look in the mirror, cracks and all, and say, "You're enough, even now." 10. Replace worry with purposeful action. Worry can feel like a rocking chair, busy and restless, giving you something to do, but ultimately moving you nowhere. You know the feeling all too well. Your mind races through worst-case scenarios, looping through what-ifs until exhaustion takes over. Yet, despite this mental chaos, nothing changes. The bills don't pay themselves, the career doesn't advance on its own, and the weight of uncertainty stays heavy on your shoulders. Buddhism offers a gentle but powerful reminder. Do not act out of worry, act from clarity. There is a difference between frantic motion and mindful movement. One keeps you stuck, the other frees you. Imagine your worry as noise, distracting and overwhelming, but beneath it, there is a stillness waiting to be discovered. That stillness is your true clarity, the quiet space where purpose can arise. The moment you pause the internal storm, you create room to ask, what is one small, purposeful step I can take right now? Not a leap, not a perfect solution, just one mindful action that shifts energy from fear to forward motion. Too often, we mistake worry for preparation. We think that by endlessly thinking, planning, or obsessing, we are moving closer to solving our problems. But worry is a trap. It tricks you into feeling busy while it steals your peace and power. What if, instead, you paused the endless mental chatter and chose one concrete action? Something simple, something doable. Maybe it's sending that email you've been avoiding, or making a list, or simply taking a deep breath and standing up from your desk. Whatever it is, this step breaks the cycle of overthinking and replaces it with something real. This shift, moving from passive worry to active engagement, is transformative. Action grounded in clarity feels different. It grounds you in the present moment. It reminds you that you have agency, even when the future feels uncertain. It shows that the power to change your life is not in predicting what will happen, but in choosing what to do now. Think of a time when worry overwhelmed you. How much energy did it drain? Now imagine how much lighter you would feel by taking just one purposeful step instead. That's not to say worry disappears overnight. It is a habit to unlearn, a pattern to gently interrupt. But every small action is a rebellion against the paralysis of fear. Every mindful step is proof that you are more than your anxious thoughts. So ask yourself, what is one thing I can do right now that moves me forward? Not because I'm trying to fix everything at once, but because I honor the power of action rooted in calm and clarity. The journey from worry to purpose isn't about giant leaps. It's about small, steady steps. Each one reclaims your strength and reminds you that while worry may feel like a rocking chair, purposeful action is the path that leads somewhere new. 11. You don't have to react to everything. Emotions surge like sudden storms across the vast sky of your mind, sometimes fierce, sometimes fleeting. But you are not the storm, you are the sky itself. The metaphor from Buddhism reminds us that feelings, no matter how intense, are like clouds drifting across an ever-present expanse. They come and go, shifting shape and color, but they do not define the sky's vastness or calm. This understanding is a profound key to ending worry. You don't have to react to everything that stirs within you. Your initial emotional reaction often feels automatic, as if wired into your system like a reflex, but that impulse is rarely the full truth. It's more habit than conscious choice. Consider a moment when anxiety or anger bubbled up. Did you pause, or did you dive headfirst into reaction, feeding the cycle of worry and unrest? Buddhism teaches that between the stimulus and your response lies a precious space. That space is your power. When you breathe deeply, Pause and simply observe the feeling without judgment. You create a sacred gap. In that gap, you can choose how to respond rather than reacting on autopilot. Conscious breathing anchors you, reminding you that emotions are transient visitors, not permanent residents. By mastering this practice, you preserve your peace, not by escaping the world's triggers, but by changing how you meet them. Imagine yourself as the sky during a storm. The clouds roll in, thick, dark, threatening, but beneath it all, the sky remains vast and unchanged. The storm passes, and clear blue returns. You can learn to hold your emotions this way, with openness, curiosity, and compassion, without letting them sweep you away. What happens when you resist that first urge to react? Often, the intensity lessens, the mind quiets, and clarity emerges. You don't get pulled into the storm, you watch it move across your internal sky. Ask yourself, can I let this feeling pass without reacting? What does holding on really give me? Worry, fear, irritation, they gain strength only when fed by reaction. When you refuse to engage with them immediately, they lose their power. This is not suppression, but mindful presence, recognizing the feeling, naming it, and allowing it space without letting it hijack your mind or actions. This skill is a radical form of self-mastery, a quiet rebellion against the relentless pressure to always fix or fight your inner storms. In daily life, this means practicing small moments of pause before responding. When a stressful email arrives, when a difficult conversation arises, when fear grips you about the future, stop, breathe. Feel the emotions as passing clouds. Choose your response consciously. Over time, this rewires your brain, creating new habits of calm and clarity. The worries lose their grip, the compulsive need to react softens, and peace grows. You are the vast sky, beyond the shifting weather of feelings. Each moment you choose to watch, rather than react, you reclaim your freedom. The storms may come, but they do not define you. You can hold space for worry without letting it consume you. In that space lies your true power and your true peace. Bonus lesson: choose what matters, not what feels comfortable. Imagine walking through a thick fog where the path ahead is invisible, the ground uncertain beneath your feet. In that haze, your values become the compass guiding you forward, steady and true, even when the way feels unclear. This is the essence of what Buddhism teaches about choosing what matters, not just what feels comfortable. In a world overwhelmed by endless distractions, worry, and pressure, it's easy to settle for the easiest route, the one that offers immediate relief or distraction. But true peace, the kind that lasts, arises from living in alignment with your deepest purpose, not from avoiding discomfort. Many of us are trapped in a cycle of seeking comfort, chasing fleeting moments of ease to silence the noise inside. But what if the pursuit of comfort is what's actually feeding your anxiety? When you choose safety over growth, ease over challenge, you may feel relief at first, but underneath, a quiet restlessness grows, a sense that something important is missing. Buddhism reminds us that happiness is not found in comfort alone, but emerges when discipline meets purpose. A disciplined mind brings happiness, the saying goes. Discipline here is not punishment, but a conscious choice to steer your life according to values that matter most. Think about the moments you've stayed in situations that felt familiar but didn't serve you. Jobs that drained your spirit, relationships that limited your growth, routines that numbed your potential. You chose comfort over what truly mattered, and it cost you peace. The fog thickened. But what if you shifted your focus from feeling good now to moving towards something meaningful, even if it's uncomfortable? Meaning often comes with discomfort, but it never comes with regret. The quiet regrets come from ignoring your values and letting worry dictate your choices. This is a radical invitation to stop living by convenience and start living by conviction. It's not about being perfect or having all the answers. It's about waking up each day and asking what truly matters beneath the noise of my fears and distractions. When your actions align with that answer, worry loses its grip. You move forward with clarity, even if the path isn't fully visible yet. You might still feel fear or uncertainty. This is natural. But you don't have to let those feelings decide your direction. Instead, let your values be the compass, pointing you toward purpose, growth, and ultimately, peace. That choice to act with intention, even in discomfort, transforms worry into purposeful action. It rewires your mind, breaking the endless loop of anxiety and hesitation. So, ask yourself now, are your daily actions reflecting what truly matters to you? Or are you settling for what feels easiest? The fog may not lift immediately, but with your values as your guide, every step forward is a step toward genuine happiness. This is the path Buddhism offers, a life lived fully awake, choosing meaning over ease and peace over worry. Your compass is within you, always ready to lead. Will you trust it? Quick summary of the principles. Be happy. Now. Happiness isn't something you find, it's something you choose now. Stop waiting for perfect moments. They may never come. Joy can coexist with chaos if your mind allows it. The path is not outside, it's within. Live as if happiness is already present. What is worry according to Buddhism? Worry is the mind's trick, imagining futures that don't exist. It thrives on the illusion of control and fear of the unknown. When you see it clearly, it loses its power. Awareness breaks the loop. You are not your anxious mind. The mind's trap. Suffering starts when we attach to thoughts and resist life. Beliefs shape how we experience pain, not events themselves. The mind labels everything, good or bad, and reacts. Free yourself by detaching from those mental labels. Peace arises when we stop wrestling with the mind. Living in the present. The present moment is the only place peace exists. Worry fades when you return to now. Presence is power. It anchors you when the mind spins. Use breath and awareness to come back home. You'll find that most problems don't exist here. Trusting life. Letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Trying to control everything creates more stress. Flow with life, don't fight against it. You don't need all the answers to trust the process. Release and let the journey guide you. Accept what is. Acceptance is peace, not surrender to defeat. You don't have to like something to stop resisting it. Fighting reality only fuels suffering. When you say yes to what is, your energy shifts. True strength is in embracing life as it unfolds. Stop fixing yourself. You are not broken, you are becoming. Improvement is rooted in self-love, not self-hate. Treat yourself like someone worth supporting. You can grow without shaming who you are now. Compassion is the soil for real transformation. Thoughts are not facts. Your mind says many things. Most aren't true. Observe your thoughts without becoming them. You are awareness, not the voice in your head. Detach and choose what you believe. This is how you break free from worry. Practice radical self-compassion. Inner peace starts when the inner critic rests. Speak to yourself like someone you deeply care for. Self-judgment fuels anxiety. Kindness calms it. Your flaws don't make you unworthy. Gentleness creates space for growth. Replace worry with action. Worry wastes energy. Action moves life forward. Focus on what you can do, not what you fear. Clarity comes through small, intentional steps. Doing dissolves overthinking. Take one step now. You don't have to react. You are not your reaction. You are the space before it. Responding is power. Reacting is programming. Feel the emotion, then let it pass. Silence is strength, not weakness. Peace lives in the pause. Choose what matters. Comfort is tempting, but meaning lasts longer. Align your actions with what you truly value. Let purpose lead, not fear. Discomfort is part of the growth path. Choose what feeds your soul, not just your mood. In a world obsessed with control, the truth is revolutionary. You are already free. You just forgot. You don't need more things, more status, or more certainty to live fully. You need to return to yourself now, in this moment. The secret to peace isn't in changing life, it's in changing how you relate to it. Worry is not wisdom, it's a habit passed down by fear. But your true nature, beneath the fear, is calm, grounded, and wise. Buddhism teaches us that suffering begins in the mind, but so does liberation. The key isn't outside of you. You were born with it. When you stop believing every thought, start accepting what is, and choose action over fear, life begins to transform. The chaos may remain, but your relationship with it softens. Let go. Breathe. Focus on what truly matters. This is not passive surrender, it is powerful clarity. There is no need to chase life. You are not behind, you are not broken. With presence, compassion, and trust, you can release the burden of overthinking and discover a freedom that no success or external goal can provide. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be here. When you realize nothing is lacking, the whole world belongs to you. Zen proverb. If this awakened something within you, don't keep it to yourself. Like and share this video, drop your reflections in the comment box, and subscribe to Deep Wisdom for more inspiring Buddhist insights on living a peaceful life.